All right, next up is Clayton Center presentation in reference to one of our boards and committees.
Well, hold on. Chairman, you want to explain to the people about why they're coming before us? And
Yeah, we have a number of boards and committees that this Board of Commissioners appoint our citizens to be on the board. So we have asked all of the committees to come before the citizens of Clayton County, this board, and explain exactly what they do and how they can service, or what services they provide citizens here in Clayton County. And this is the Clayton Center, and I believe they do mental health.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Proceed on.
So, good evening. I do have brochures for you if you would like them.
you want to speak in the mic, I think.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, please speak in the mic.
Thank you. Okay,
ahead.
good
You
evening,
go ahead.
Chairman, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the board. I'm Khadijah Works. I'm the chairperson for Clayton Centers. I've been serving on this board for about 5 years. I've been the chair for 2 years, and our board currently has 7 members. To give you a little bit about our board, we are contracted by the state known as DBHDD, Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. We provide services consisting of mental health, addictive disease, substance abuse, child adolescence issues, and developmental disabilities. So the way it works is, after we provide the services, we are reimbursed, which is called fee for services. All right. We are a part of which is known as CSBs, which stands for Community Service Boards. There are several community service boards within the state of Georgia. We were a vital part of making 988 a reality. We fought for women's rights against the heartbeat bill because we knew there would be a direct correlation with mental health, child adolescence, and addictive disease. Out of the 4 commission districts, we service all 4 districts. We serve individuals from the age of 3 and up. We currently offer both in-person and telehealth services per our contract from DBHDD. Our staff currently consists of 116 highly dedicated workers. Our executive team is our CEO, Dr. Adams. We have a CFO, and we have a COO as well. Right now, we have 4 fully licensed clinicians, 2 doctors for psychiatry, which is not enough, but we do have 2 doctors for psychiatry, 2 nurse practitioners, 1 telehealth nurse practitioner, and some partially licensed clinicians. This is great because out of the CSBs, Clayton County, we actually have clinicians, doctors, we actually have them, but some of the CSBs have suffered because of the competitive pay rate.
What's CSB?
Community Service Boards. Yeah. So we are a community service board for Clayton County. We also offer psychology in the schools through our APEX programs. All right. Our Paula Crane Center, which you guys should see on the information I passed out. The Paula Crane is primarily for substance abuse, but they offer GED classes, fitness classes, job readiness, and housing assistance after completion of the program. There is daily transportation. We are CARF accredited. This is a very strenuous audit for service providers. If they like you, they won't come out for a year. If they love you, they'll give you 3 years. We are 3 years accredited.
Yes.
So this fiscal year, we have served 1,470 children at our child, youth, and family, which is in Morrow. 1,300 substance abuse are currently in our program for substance abuse. There's 80 in our residential program. We offer residential for some of the services. 156 in developmental disability, including our adult day program, and 5,892 active cases, which is just going to be like mental health, substance abuse, a little bit of everything, mostly mental health. Currently, based on the hospital's data, roughly 50,000 people need our services in Clayton County, okay? Currently, 52,000 children need our services based on the school's data, and there's a really high demand for teens. We have a high teen suicide rate in our county. Okay? So we are the safety net providers for these teens, for pretty much everybody, but the teens are near and dear because our CEO sits on a mortality rate call, and it's horrific. 14,000 need residential services based on the homelessness population with current diagnosis. We are currently trying to get a crisis stabilization unit for our county and diligently working with the director of Southern Regional Hospital to make this a reality. The reason for the crisis stabilization unit is because we have members of Clayton County that are going to other counties, as you heard in the previous presentation, and there's no need for that. We can have it right here. So stabilization crisis is if the person is having mental health crisis, then we can stabilize them in a certain facility that's going to be watched and totally safe. If the person is suicidal, there's staff there to watch them. This is a definite need, especially with inflation, pandemic, things like that. So we average about $10 million in revenue. Everything is eaten up in expenses, so there is no profit. We average about $10 million. I'm sorry, all the funding is earmarked, so we struggle with funding for operations. Dr. Adams, our CEO, has collaborated with Chief Roberts as well as the court so we can work together and help them understand mental crisis in the criminal justice world. When I started the board, we were $2.8 million in the red. This was 5 years ago. FY22, at our last board meeting, we were $333,324 in the good. Let's not forget this was during the pandemic, which we operated at limited capacity, but we never really stopped providing services. In comparison to other community service boards in Georgia, you'll be very proud of the work we have continued to provide, meaning a lot of the other CSBs lost a lot of programming. You have to think that, keep in mind that a lot of them are rural, so some of them have collabed together. 3 or 4 counties might make up one CSB, but it's still rural. So it's very limited population. They've lost a ton of programming. We didn't lose any programming. We had dedicated workers working around the clock. I'm very proud of that because it was a big deal. It was rough, but we got through it. So our board members consist of 7 board members, and we have to take off work. We have to go in and out of town for meetings often. We have to attend meetings with our legislators. We attend events at the Capitol. We speak with attorneys. We read and approve contracts. I mainly read and approve the contracts, but we do it together. Make sure we are in compliance, attend state meetings, etc. If I am not in attendance at these meetings, I'm not in compliance with CSB, DBHDD, our state that governs us. So I have to attend these meetings whether it's mandatory, whether they don't have any clue about our personal lives and what we just have to be there. We're asking for compensation for this board. This is a volunteer board. We definitely understand that. It's been an unpaid board, but Clayton Centers has been serving Clayton County for 52 years, and they've had an unpaid board. So we work really hard. We're all passionate about what we do, and we are asking for a pay. So that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. Are there any questions for Ms. Wertz? Let me say this, though. I appreciate the work that y'all are doing down there because I speak with Dr. Adams quite often, and I have firsthand knowledge of the work that you're doing,
Right.
and very proud of it. This board, not the board, but the citizens of Clayton County, through a SPLOS, has approved for a crisis stabilization facility to be built in Clayton County.
Right.
One of the issues, and I'm sure you well know this, is that the operational costs for the employees. So there's an issue there as far as I would never want to build a building and not be able to staff it.
Right.
So Dr. Adams and I have spoken to the commissioner of health, what's his name? Kevin Tanner.
Is that the new person?
That's the new person,
Yes.
just started. We have talked to him about some funding for Clayton County, and hopefully that will come to fruition,
Yes,
because we just don't need to build a small building for the funds that have been allocated through the SPLOS. We need to add additional funds to that so we can build it right.
That's right.
But with that being said, we also got to make sure that we are being able to cover the facilities and the employees that we have now, because we don't want them jumping ship and going somewhere else either.
Yes,
because we have great employees within that department working for Clayton County, and again, I appreciate all that they do. One thing that we can also do as a board is take a look at the stipend, not stipend, but the block grant that we give the CSB, and see if we can increase that.
Okay.
And at the same time, consider whether we can, because some boards can't be paid. I don't know if this is your board or not, but of course we would have to do our homework on it. But to take that under consideration as well.
Okay.
Any other questions? Commissioner Anderson.
I'm gonna let her get it anyway.
Okay.
I just want to say thank you all for all of your hard work and dedication. I do know the number of hours that you all put in, and I would definitely be for giving you some type of compensation for the work that you all do. You do go out of town. You are different places. You all have fought hard for mental health within this county. And again, you know, as commissioners, our jobs are to help with mental health and help with the issues that you guys are going through. So again, I just want to say thank you all for all your hard work and dedication. It's duly noted, and that I would definitely be for making sure that you guys got compensation for all of the hard work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Yes. First question is behavior health, is the employees that work there, are they considered state employees?
Yes, they switched over to state employees. When I first started the board, there was a staffing agency, but now they're all converted to state employees.
Okay. So most of your, I mean, that's where you get, that's your funding, right? Basic funding
Yes,
is
from the state.
That's why
Yeah,
we have
well,
this.
it's very important to know that it's fee for services. So we essentially, DBHCD would give, they used to give us a nice amount of money, and then I guess about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, they started making it where we have to show an itemized list of what we spent and what we made and things like, and we're basically reimbursed the money back. So we don't get that money up front like we used to years ago. So we have to work and do the fee for service. It's fee for services. We have to provide the services, and then we get reimbursed after.
Okay. So do they provide finances for you all for your travel and all, or is that excluded?
No, they actually, it's covered. We're actually, we get, well, they offer housing, we go to certain conferences 3-4 times a year. We're offered to go. We try to attend them. Some of them are mandatory because it's just for boards, because we're governed by the CSB boards. So a lot of learning, things like that, training, but they will compensate us for mileage. Sometimes there's carpooling, and sometimes it's not, but we don't get compensated for taking off work. We all work, and I work a job, full-time job, and I have a business.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I have to take off a lot.
Yeah. Thank you all for serving too, and thanks. And I'm glad you all worked with Chief Roberts, you know, your director and all, because I had to call him one day some time back because I kept getting these notices about missing people and people walking away from whatever. And I said, well, I'm glad we don't have, you know, with the criminal crime thing, but it was always the mental thing, you know. So I'm glad you all are here to help with that. And that was one of the things that he was saying, because I think we have a social worker now, I think, with the police department and all, and I'm really glad, because it seemed like a lot of our notices and all were coming to us because of people, you know, with mental issues, walking away, being lost, you know, trying to locate, you know, the missing and all. And I was thinking, you know, how some people have more of the crime thing, and thank God that's down here in Clayton. But the mental part seemed like it's going up, it's escalating.
They're kind of, now this isn't my expertise, but I have a criminal justice background. They kind of run hand in hand. Crime will go up if mental health is up. People are coping instead of healing. Just to piggyback off of Southern Regional, the same thing, not enough education. There's a stigma in the community about going to get mental health help if you're in crisis. And luckily, the good thing is now we're being more vocal about it. And the celebrities are being more vocal about it, which makes it more relatable. But we have to grasp our children. They're social media driven, and we're having a real issue with the teens. So I worked at Boys and Girls Club too as well, and it's the same thing, constantly giving out resources and trying to really work with the community because of the mental health issues with the kids. And there's developmental disabilities. A lot of parents want to ignore that. And then there's also the crisis with peer pressure. There's drug abuse. Like I said, people want to cope instead of heal. I also work for DFACS. I do drug testing for the state. So there's a lot of people that are coping, that are not healing, and they're just coping with substance abuse. So
Thank you all so much. Thank you so much
in our
for
county,
serving.
we work hard to try to get this together, and we work very hard.
Commissioner Davis, you have anything?
I want to make one more statement too. I know with you all, a lot of times, just to let this board know, they meet with state officials, so they have to take off work along with the CEO to speak with them as far as, you know, trying to get the different, you know, the different things that they need for the facilities and things of that nature. Even you guys had to meet. I know we met one time with the I think it was the state, and we were trying to get. What were we trying to do at one point in time?
Well, I remember we were doing a sustainability plan in the beginning. That was 2 years.
Yeah.
Normally, other counties in a sustainability plan, if they're in it, it's like less than a year. If that, they put Clayton County in it for 2 years.
For 2 years.
So we had to get on calls every month, and they would always say, "Well, what is your board think?" So we didn't want to leave Dr. Adams, and he's working really, really hard, our CEO. So we have to be present. Usually there's a saying with us that wherever he go, I go, you know. So we have to support him as a board, because they're going to ask, what does your board think? So we try to stay as present as possible.
All right. Did either of you ladies want to interject, have anything? Okay.
Y'all should. Y'all don't say nothing. You sure?
Thank you again for all you do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.